Step number 2 is belief. Remember we said before that your external world will always be a representation of your internal world, and that your internal world is made up of your beliefs, your convictions, if you like. Another word is faith. It's what you believe or what you have faith in deep down inside. There's a great talk by Reverend Ike where he talks about fascination, and he says that what you are fascinated by becomes your reality because you are drawn toward it and it is drawn toward you. What you believe in, what you have faith in, what interests you, what draws you, what fascinates you is critical. And another word is conviction. You have to believe that it is possible for you to accomplish the goal. You have to believe that it is possible for you to achieve it. For that reason, it's very important that you make your goal believable. Many people, when they learn these new ideas about goal setting, they make a mistake. They think, wow, I'm going to go out and I'm going to make $1 million in a year. And the fact of the matter is that $1 million, if you're making whatever you're making now, to jump to $1 million in most cases is so big that your conscious mind rejects it as being illogical, not acceptable, impossible. And if your conscious mind rejects it, it never gets to the subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind can only accept as a command something that you totally believe in the conscious mind. So make it believable and make it achievable. It's better to set a smaller goal at first and accomplish that, and then a larger goal and accomplish that, and then a larger goal and accomplish that. For instance, 2 examples. If you want to lose weight, don't say I'm going to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds. Lose 5 pounds. You see, 5 pounds you can believe. You can get your mind around 5 pounds. If you want to increase your income by 50%. Question mark plus. Increase your income by 50%. If you're earning $10,000 a year, say, my goal is to earn $15,000 a year. I earn $15,000 per year. You can get your mind around 50%. That's less than 4% a month compounded. You can get your mind around 5 pounds, and as you begin to move your income up or begin to move your weight down, then adjust the goal and make it 5 more pounds. Make it 50% more, and so on. But keep your goals believable. According to the work at Harvard University, your goals should have a 50-50 probability of success. 50-50 probability. And each goal should be aimed at what is called your next step, your next logical step on the road to accomplishment. So if you want to run a marathon and you've never run before, the first thing is to run a mile. And run a mile without pain. And then run 2 miles and then run 3 miles. But to go from 0 to running a marathon has been found to be a self-defeating exercise. It'll actually hurt you more than it will motivate you. Remember, in order for a goal to unlock the motivational capacity that lies within you, you must be able to believe that it's possible of accomplishment. So better to set it lower to start with and then raise the standard than set it so high that it defeats you right at the beginning. Number 3 is write it down. Now this is very important because most people don't write their goals down. Only 3% of the population have written goals. Only 5% have goals at all. Only 3% have written goals, and I venture to say that probably you don't have any written goals either. And if you do have written goals, you probably don't have them written out in any detail. Write the goal down. Remember the reasons why people don't set goals. One of the reasons why they don't write the goals down is that when you write a goal down, you make it concrete. Suddenly, your subconscious wakes up and says, ha, you mean business. When you don't write it down, you are avoiding making a commitment. Unconsciously, the reason why people don't write their goals down is because of the fear of failure. The reason they don't write their goals down is they don't want to make a commitment to it. You see, if you never write it down, then nobody can ever tell you you didn't accomplish it. If you don't write it down, well, then you're not really locked into anything. You keep your options open, if you like, and you go on to fail and underachieve in life. All the successful people have written goals. And if you want to be successful, you really have no choice. So write the goals down, make it concrete, make a commitment. A 100% commitment to accomplishing your goal will do more to drive you towards your goal than you can possibly imagine. Now, when you write it down, make it clear. Don't make it fuzzy. So don't say, I want to be happy or I want to be rich. Make it clear. Make it specific. If you want to earn a certain amount of money, make it a specific amount of money. Make it after-tax dollars. If you want to start a business, make it a profitable business. If you want to get into a relationship, make it a happy relationship. But make it clear, specific, and use vivid words or vivid language. Because the more vivid the language is, the more rapidly the subconscious accepts it. Emotional words like warm, exciting, powerful, loving, happy, dynamic. These are the kind of words that drive the goal into the subconscious mind. It's absolutely essential that it be a written goal. This is, by the way, where the winners part from the losers, because the losers always have a reason not to write out their goals. Number 4 is ask yourself this critical question. Why do you want it? Why do you want it? This is one of the most important of all questions, because it will answer 3 things. First of all, it will make sure that it's your goal and not somebody else's. Second of all, it will intensify your desire, because the more reasons that you have, these are what is called your reasons why. Your reasons why, in most cases, are more important than the goal itself. The goals can change. The reasons why stay the same. Do you want it because it will make you happier, healthier, more popular? Do you want it because it will fulfill your deepest needs? It will give you a sense of meaning and purpose in life? Why do you want it? You see, the more reasons you have to want something, and if you make a list of them, list the reasons. The more reasons you have, the more desire you'll have, because reasons are the fuel in the furnace of achievement. Reasons are the fuel in the furnace of achievement. The more reasons you have for accomplishing something, the more likely it is you'll accomplish it. For instance, if you say, well, I'd like to earn $50,000 a year, or $30,000 or $100,000, doesn't matter. First it says, why? And if you just say, well, just so that I can earn that kind of money, it has almost no motivating power. But if you say, so I could get a car, so I could take care of my family, so I could take my wife or my husband on a trip, so I could buy things for my children, so I could change my wardrobe, get a different house, buy a different car. The more things that you list under there, the more likely it is that you're going to accomplish it. Because when you list your reasons, you intensify your belief, your faith, and your conviction that it's possible. Number 5 step in goal setting is to analyze your position. Analyze your starting point. Now this is important, because in analyzing your starting point, you know what your next step is. When we say analyzing our starting point, what do we mean? Well, let me give you a couple of examples. In analyzing your starting point, you have to ask yourself, what are your strengths? What are your basic strengths and what are your basic weaknesses? What is it that you need to learn? What is it that you need to improve? You see, before you accomplish any big goals, major efforts are necessary. Before you bring about any major change in your life, you're going to have to bring about major changes in you. Before you accomplish anything extraordinary, you're going to have to do a lot of ordinary things. So you have to ask this question. If you want to lose weight, what's the first thing you do? Is you weigh yourself. If you want to increase your income, the first thing you do is you figure out how much did you make last year? How much are you making right now? And then if you want to increase your income and you're in the business of sales, then you say, how many calls am I making on a daily basis? How many closes am I making? What is my average sales volume? What is my average sale? How many of those do I have to have? How much do I have to increase it, and so on? If you want to build a bigger business, you analyze your starting point and you say, where am I in the marketplace? How am I fixed with regard to capital resources? How am I fixed with regard to manpower? How am I fixed with regard to market opportunities and credit? And you sit down and you do a very, very clear analysis, exactly the way a military commander would do a strategic analysis of his or her position before launching a major battle campaign. One of the big mistakes that people make in goal setting is they launch without taking the time to think through what their launching pad is. And when they find themselves driven back, if you like, or falling on their face, they don't have a foundation underneath them. So those are the 6 starting points. Determine what it is that you desire. The 5 starting points. Determine what it is that you desire. Believe that you can accomplish it. Write it down. Determine the reasons why. Analyze your starting point. And number 6, set a deadline. Set a deadline. You see, a goal without a deadline is not really a goal at all. A goal without a deadline is an exercise in self-delusion. So be very alert to that. Set a deadline on your total goal, and then set mini deadlines. Not many, but mini. So if you have a 1-year goal, then set 12 one-month goals. Write 2 6-month goals, 4 3-month goals, 12 one-month goals, and then 4 one-week goals. Set mini deadlines and establish a reward schedule. This is one of the most important findings in psychology, is establish a reward schedule. Is that if you will give yourself a small reward, and we find that many of the most successful men and women that we've studied have little games with themselves. If it's nothing more than every 3 phone calls they give themselves a jelly bean, or every 2 appointments that they get they give themselves a cup of coffee or a walk outside. It really doesn't matter what it is, but establish a reward schedule so that every time you achieve a mini deadline or a mini goal on the path to your bigger goal, you give yourself a reward. And you'll find that people who have not been able to motivate themselves for years, if they have little rewards, one after the other, you see, it's not enough to have a big reward at the end of the road. As human beings, we're almost like kids. We have to have a whole lot of little rewards on the way, a whole lot of little jelly beans on the way to the birthday cake or the birthday party. So set yourself a reward schedule. It may be buying a new article of clothing. It may be taking a trip. It may be going out to dinner. It may be anything that you like. You can have little rewards for small achievements, medium-sized rewards for medium-sized achievements, big rewards for big achievements. And make sure that that why is there, because it intensifies the desire, it keeps up your excitement and enthusiasm, and it unconsciously reinforces you and drives you forward into the next action. Step number 7. And this is where we come down into the planning step. Step number 7 is this, is identify the obstacles you will have to overcome. Identify the obstacles. One of the things that we know is that obstacles equal success. Success means obstacles. That there is no success without obstacles. As a matter of fact, obstacles come to instruct, not to obstruct. Instruct versus obstruct. Remember this, every obstacle or difficulty that you meet on the way to your goal has come to instruct you in some way. So identify the obstacles you're going to have to overcome on the way to your goal. One of the things that holds people back from great accomplishment is that they see that there's an enormous number of obstacles that they have to overcome. It's like the settlers coming across the prairies 100 years ago saw those enormous Rocky Mountains and said, how are they ever going to get through that massive mountain range of mountains? Until some of the trappers and some of the scouts found that there were valleys that they could find that would lead them through the mountains. And all they needed was one valley through one set of mountains in order to be on the other side. So identify the obstacles and then list the obstacles. Ask yourself, what are all the things that are holding you back from accomplishing the goal right now? Why aren't you at the goal right now? You see, if there aren't any obstacles, then it's not a goal at all. It's just an activity. So what's standing between you and the obstacles? Also, be grateful for obstacles, because it's obstacles that assure that there is success at the other end. Where there are no obstacles, where there are no difficulties, where there are no challenges to overcome, there's no possibility of success either. Then set priorities on your obstacles. In other words, look at them and say, of all the things that are standing between me and my goal, which one is number 1? Which is the number 1 obstacle? Imagine that this is you. Okay? Hope you can see that. That this is you, and here is your goal. Well, now on the way to your goal, there's a road. And the road twists and turns. And on the way to the goal, there's a few obstacles, and there's pitfalls, and there's deadfalls, and so on. But somewhere on the way to this goal, there's also what we call the rock. Now, your rock is your major obstacle. The rock is the major thing that is stopping you from achieving your goal in the quality and the quantity that you desire. One of the most important things that you can do is ask yourself, what is your rock? What is the major boulder? What is the big obstruction that stops you from getting from here to there? Identifying the rock is one of the marks of the strategic thinker, and identifying the rock is one of the key things you do. Why? Because if you get rid of all of these other little obstacles on the way to the goal, the rock is still going to be there, and you're still not going to accomplish the goal. If you're not very careful, if you don't set priorities on your obstacles, you'll tend to work on a whole lot of irrelevant things and leave this rock undisturbed. However, the intelligent person focuses on the rock. The intelligent person says, this is the major obstacle, and they go to work on that rock. And they work day and night. They work as long as is necessary. There's a beautiful expression that says, swarm all over it. When you have a major problem, a major obstacle, a major difficulty that's in your way, swarm all over it. Concentrate all of your effort and attention. Work at it day and night, week in and week out, to get rid of it, because getting rid of that one obstacle will get you further towards your goal than getting rid of all of the other obstacles put together. So, in terms of your major definite purpose, what is your rock? What is your major obstacle? What's stopping you from going ahead? It could be internal. It could be lack of self-confidence. Very common. It could be self-doubt. It could be fear of loss. It could be a lot of things. That's quite normal. Or it could be external. It could be lack of money. It could be lack of information or knowledge. It could be lack of support from other people. It could be health. It could be a variety of things, but whatever it is, if you're determined to accomplish your goal, find out what it is and go to work to remove it. Now, number 8 is identify the knowledge you're going to require. Identify the knowledge that you're going to require. You see, we live in a knowledge-based society. There's no question about that. Is that no matter what it is that you want to accomplish, you're going to need more knowledge than you have now. The basic rule of life is that to a greater or lesser extent, you have gone as far as you can go in your life at this moment with what you now know. That's why I've emphasized so strongly the need for continuous self-development, reading, learning, taking in new information, because you need more knowledge. Now, there's two ways that you can get knowledge. You can go out and get original knowledge, which is to read, research, and find it yourself, or you can get knowledge from other people. But in any case, identify the knowledge you require. What do you need to know? For instance, if you want to be successful in business, one of the things that you have to know is marketing and sales. If you want to be successful in your own business, the critical skill in entrepreneurial success is salesmanship. The critical skill in executive success is the ability to sell your ideas to others and to persuade others. So maybe what you need, maybe the critical knowledge you need is persuasion skills. Or it could be the knowledge that you need has to do with the law, has to do with accounting, has to do with technology. 2 points is set priorities on your knowledge. You see, when you set priorities and you determine what's the number one piece of knowledge that you need, what's the number one piece of knowledge that more than anything else can hold you back from accomplishing your goal. And you'll find that if you concentrate on the number one piece of knowledge, it's like the rock in terms of obstacles. The number one piece of knowledge, once acquired, will catapult you towards your goal. Whereas if you accomplish a whole lot of other knowledge, it won't help you at all. Now, finally, and this is the last part with regard to knowledge, is ask your way to success. Ask your way to success. This is one of the pieces of advice by a great success counselor, is ask, ask, ask. What he said, and what every person who's ever studied this has said, is that this 3-letter word, ASK, is the key to your success in life. Ask the people who have the knowledge. If you need, hire the lawyers, hire the consultants, hire the specialists, hire the accountants. Ask your way to success. Find other people who are in your field. Find people who have the success. Find people who are experienced and go to them and ask. Why is it that people don't ask? Very simple reason. Most people are afraid of rejection. But the key to getting the things that you want in life is, first of all, you're going to have to learn it all yourself, or second, is you can ask other people. And surprisingly enough, if you ask other people, they'll tell you. If you ask successful people what they did right, they'll tell you. If you ask successful people for their advice, they'll tell you. As a matter of fact, I was studying the life of a self-made millionaire, and he said, one of the keys to success in business is to become a negative thinker. And I thought that was astonishing, because I teach that you should be a positive thinker. And as I read on, what he said is, by that I mean is that once you come up with a great idea, take it to experts who can tear your idea apart, who can point out holes and weaknesses and flaws. Now, if you cannot plug the holes, weaknesses, and flaws, it probably means the idea isn't good enough. But if you are not willing to subject your idea to the scrutiny of critical people whose job is to find fatal flaws in something, then the idea is probably not good enough. So seeking out negative people, asking people their opinion, ask your way to success. Remember, in order to succeed, you need knowledge. You need more knowledge than you've got. You don't have very much time. You've got to get the knowledge the fastest, cheapest way possible. If necessary, buy the knowledge you require. Don't be cheap when it comes to knowledge. Number 9 step in goal setting is identify and ask yourself, who is your customer? Who is your customer? This means that you have to identify the people, the groups, and the organizations whose cooperation you require in order to be successful. Who are the people? Who are the groups? Who are the organizations? You see, in life we have a very simple equation, is that everybody makes their living by satisfying or serving somebody. That you and me have a customer, and that we move ahead in life to the degree to which we satisfy our customer. So we are all in the business of customer satisfaction. Now, if you work for a company, your customer may be your boss. If you're a salesperson, your customer may be your boss on the inside and the person who buys your product or service on the outside. If you're a nurse, your customer is the head nurse. Whoever you are, there is somebody in your environment. If you have a business person and you have to expand, one of your customers is your banker. Another one of your customers is your staff, your employees. Another customer may be your family. But there are always people that you have to work with in order to accomplish your goals. Now, why should people work with you in order to help you accomplish your goals? There's only one way, and that is what we call the law of compensation. The law of compensation, which comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson's wonderful essay called Compensation, simply says that for every force in life, there's an equal and opposite force. We call it the law of sowing and reaping. But it says this. It says that you are always compensated in equal measure for what you do. In fact, it always says that you are compensated in more than equal measure. So if you sow good, you reap more good than you sowed. If you sow bad, you reap more bad than you sowed. The law of compensation says that as long as you are doing good things for other people will do good things for you. So you ask this question, and this is everybody's favorite radio station. It's called WIIFM. What's in it for me? WIIFM. What's in it for me? If you want to be successful in life, the most successful people are what are called go-givers, as opposed to go-getters. Go-givers are people who are always asking, what can I do to please my customers? What can I do to give value? What can I do to earn their cooperation and their help to accomplish my goals? They're always trying to put themselves on the side of this law of compensation, knowing that if they put in, they'll get out. All the best companies in America or Canada, anywhere in the world, are built on the law of compensation, built on the law of sowing good seed and reaping good harvests. All unsuccessful laws, or all unsuccessful individuals and companies, are built on the premise of taking as much as you can get, putting in back, or as little as you can put in. Now, a second law, which ties in with this, is what it's called the law of service. The law of service says that you will always be rewarded in life in exact proportion to the value of your service to other people, to your customer, whoever your customer or customers are. The law of service says that your returns will always equal your service. That if you want to increase the value of your returns, you have to increase the value of your service. But it also says this wonderful thing, is that the great satisfactions in life, the great joys that you will enjoy in life will always come from serving other people. It'll always come from doing a good job, from contributing something of value to others. And the more work you do on yourself to increase the value of your contribution, the happier you will be and the bigger your rewards will be. It also triggers the third law, which is the law of return. The law of return says that whatever you put in terms of service, you will get back in terms of return. And it brings us to one more law, again from Napoleon Hill, called the law of overcompensation. The law of overcompensation, to me and to many people, is the key to success in life. And it simply says this. It says, always do more than you're paid for. Always put in more than you take out. Always go the extra mile. Always do more than you're paid for. You can never be paid more than you're getting now until you do more than you're being paid now. And you put yourself on the side of the angels when you put in more and more than you're being paid for. Number 10 is make a plan. Make a plan, and make the plan over and over. All successful men and women are successful planners. And how do you make a plan? Simple. A plan is a list of activities. In other words, you just identify from everything that we've talked about, what are the activities that you have to engage in to achieve your goal. And then you organize the list, just like a ladder. You organize the list in terms of priorities and in terms of time. What do you have to do first? What do you have to do second? What's more important? What's less important? And then you take action and get going on your plan and continually revise the plan. Number 11 is visualization. Visualization is worth all of the other 10. Visualization is create a clear mental picture of the goal that you desire. Create a clear mental picture and then imagine or image the result. Get a clear mental picture and see your goal as already realized. See it as a reality and play that picture over and over again on the screen of your mind. Play that picture on the screen of your mind until you can see it with perfect clarity. Design it, draw it out, do whatever is necessary in order to create that mental picture, and then think about that mental picture. Think about your goal as a reality over and over again. Repeat it until you impress it deeper and deeper and deeper into your subconscious. Number 12 is back your plan with determination and persistence. Back your plan with determination and persistence. In the final analysis, the key to your success is your ability to hang in longer than anybody else. In all the studies that we've looked at of winners, of peak performance, we find that the quality of persistence is to the character of a man or woman as carbon is to steel. That persistence is only necessary when the going gets rough. That persistence only comes to the fore when everything falls apart around you and you feel like quitting. That persistence has no value at all when things are going well. Persistence only has value when you are willing to press on in the face of obstacles, difficulties, disappointments, falling on your face, losing your money, and so on. In the studies of self-made millionaires, we find that the average self-made millionaire in America has been broke or nearly broke 3.2 times. But irrespective of anything that they faced, male or female, they kept on struggling. And that's one of the reasons why they became successful. We also know this, by the way, that in order for you to achieve great success, you have no choice but to be willing to face temporary setbacks, temporary defeats, temporary obstacles. Winston Churchill, in one of the great stories of human history, was asked in speaking to a boys' school if he could summarize the lessons of his life in a few words. And he stood up and he said, "I could summarize the major lesson of my life in 7 words," he said. And he stood there leaning on his cane and he said, "They are these words, young men." He said, "Never give up. Never, never give up." And I think that more than anything else, from every study I've read, that's critical. If you resolve in advance that once you have set off to achieve your goal, that you will never give up, that you will never quit, that nothing can stop you, that every single difficulty will just be a spur to drive you on, that you will become an inverse paranoid and you'll look into every problem and you look for the good in the problem, you look for the lesson that you can learn, you look for the way you can turn the situation to your advantage. If you keep on doing that, if you keep optimistic, if you keep this attitude of confident expectation going, you will be successful. And finally, with regard to persistence, the iron quality that determines all your success, let me just say this, is that your persistence is your measure of your belief in yourself. Your persistence is your measure of your belief in yourself. And every time you persist in the face of adversity, your belief in yourself increases until it reaches the point where you become unstoppable on the road and on the pathway to your goals.